The first call came on a Monday morning. Nothing special. Coffee half warm, inbox overloaded, the usual. I was midway through drafting an email when my phone lit up. Unknown number, no voicemail. Then another. Then another. On the fourth, I picked up. Mr. Jason Carter? Speaking. This is Melanie from Central Federal. We're following up on your mortgage payment. Looks like your March installment is overdue. I'd be happy to help you get current. I think you've got the wrong guy, I interrupted. I don't have a mortgage. A pause. Sir, your name, date of birth, and social security number match a home loan opened 3 years ago. Total balance, $481,000. It's linked to a property in Austin. I blinked. Austin? That's where my brother, Ryan, and his new wife had just moved. He called it their fresh start. I hung up politely, calmly, like that made it less real. Then I sat there, frozen. The low hum of my computer fan filled the room like static in my ears. I told myself there had to be some mistake. A typo, a scam, maybe even identity theft. But my gut already knew better. Only one group of people had my full legal name, social, and signature on hand. Family. I pulled open the bottom drawer of my desk. Old folders, tax returns, hospital paperwork, FAFSA documents. I'd filled them all out for someone at some point. Dad when he lost his job. Ryan when he got rejected for a car loan. Mom used to say, "You're the dependable one. Help us out, sweetheart. You've got good credit." I did. At least I thought I did. That night, I barely slept. Every sound outside made my chest tighten. I dreamed about signed documents I never touched, and conversations I never had. By morning, I wasn't guessing anymore. I knew. It wasn't fraud by some stranger. It was betrayal. And it wore my last name. Ryan had always been the favorite. Mom called him our golden boy. Growing up, he broke rules and got second chances. I followed them and got silence. When I got a full ride to state college, they clapped politely. When Ryan got kicked out of his third program, they remortgaged the house to help him find his path. Apparently, that path went straight through my credit. I called Central Federal and requested the loan documents. They emailed a 40-page PDF within the hour. My name, my information, my signature. Except, it wasn't mine. Close, though. Same curve in the J. Same awkward slant in the C. But whoever signed it missed one thing. I never crossed my T like that. It was Ryan's handwriting. I'd recognize it anywhere. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't explode. I collected. Old emails, family group texts, photos of Ryan outside his new house with balloons and a sold sign. They posted it on Facebook, tagging me, thanking me. Thanks to Jason, we made it happen. Best brother ever. No one had even asked. It wasn't about the money. It was about choice, about trust, about how I'd been used quietly, because I was reliable, because I wouldn't say no. They were right, until now. I drove straight to my parents' house. The sun was barely up. Ryan's car was in the driveway. Perfect. Mom opened the door in her robe, coffee in hand. "Jason, what a surprise." "Is Ryan here?" I asked. She hesitated, just long enough to answer my question. Then the excuses started. "He's been under stress. You know he's trying to be a father now. He's got responsibilities." "I saw the loan documents," I cut in. "You all used my name to buy him that house." Her eyes flickered. Not guilt, not fear, just inconvenience. "We had no choice," she said calmly. "You weren't using your credit. He needed it. It's not like it hurt you." That sentence lit something in me I didn't know I had. Didn't hurt me? They signed a $500,000 loan in my name, forged my signature, tied me to a house I didn't own, risked prison time for fraud, and their only concern was that I wasn't using it. I stepped inside. She didn't stop me. Ryan was on the couch, playing Xbox. He looked up and smiled, like nothing happened. "Yo, Jay, what's up?" "Turn it off." He sighed dramatically, paused the game. "What's the problem now?" "You forged my name on a mortgage," I said. "You took out a loan in my name. That's federal fraud." He stood up slowly, shrugged. "I was gonna pay it," he said. "We just needed help getting approved. It's for my family. You know how banks are. They only give breaks to guys like you. Guys like me. The ones who pay their bills. The ones who never ask for help. The ones who get used and thanked in the same breath." "You stole my future," I said. Ryan scoffed. "You're being dramatic. You've got a good job. You don't even want a house right now. You're single. I've got a kid coming, a wife, real responsibilities." I stared at him. He genuinely believed this. To him, I was a resource, not a person, just a name on paper to be used when convenient. A fallback plan. "You didn't even ask," I whispered. He grinned. "Would you have said yes?" There it was. The truth. No shame, no apology. Just a smug smile that said, "I got away with it. And what are you going to do now?" I smiled back. That scared him. Just a little. "You'll regret that," I said. He laughed. "You're not going to do anything. You're too soft." I turned to the door. "Enjoy the house," I said. "You won't be in it long." Later that week, I got in touch with a lawyer. Two, actually. One for fraud, one for strategy. I handed over every document, every email, every photo. I even showed them a text Mom had sent when they closed on the house. "Thanks for signing, sweetheart. We'll pay it off before it hurts your credit. Promise." That was the crack in the armor. She admitted I hadn't signed. We filed a fraud report with the bank. I submitted a notarized statement of non-involvement, copies of my real signature, and had a handwriting expert review the mortgage application. They confirmed what I already knew. Forged. The bank froze the account, froze the house, and launched a criminal investigation. I didn't call Ryan, didn't tell him. I wanted him to feel it unravel, piece by piece, without knowing where it started. One morning, he texted, "Dude, why is the mortgage flagged?" They froze the account? I didn't answer. 2 hours later. "Bro, we're getting letters from the bank. What the hell is going on?" Still nothing. That night. "Did you do something?" I sent one message. "Enjoy the couch." I heard later from a friend that he started panicking. He tried to transfer the house to his wife's name. The bank stopped it. Investigators had questions. By the time the police showed up, Mom tried to throw herself between them. "He's your brother? You want him to go to jail?" I didn't answer. Because it wasn't about jail. It was about respect. It was about never being their second option again. And if that meant burning it all down, so be it. If you like stories like this one, hit subscribe. I've got more coming. The calls started 2 days later. First from Ryan, then Mom, then a number I didn't recognize, but knew had her voice behind it. I let them all go to voicemail. Their tone shifted with each message. First it was confusion, then panic, then guilt-tripping. "You didn't have to go this far," Mom said on the third one. "You're tearing this family apart." Tearing it apart? I wasn't the one who committed fraud. I wasn't the one who saw family as a tool. I just stopped pretending everything was fine. The legal process took weeks. Banks moved slow. Police slower. But the fear? That moved fast. Ryan got served papers at work. His boss found out. He was let go within 48 hours. His wife called me at 2 a.m. crying. I didn't answer. I didn't block her either. I wanted them to sit in it. Every voicemail. They were building their own echo chamber of regret. Meanwhile, I worked with the investigator, handing over every scrap of evidence, every form they had ever tricked me into signing in the past 10 years. Buried in one of the folders was the original FAFSA I helped Ryan fill out when he failed out of school the first time. My handwriting on line after line. The irony? That was the start of it. All I'd ever done was try to help. Now I was building the firewood for their collapse. The house in Austin was under review. Central Federal called it a contested property, under fraudulent terms, which meant it was in limbo. Ryan and his wife couldn't refinance it. They couldn't sell it. They couldn't live in it without a monthly fight to keep the lights on. Their credit scores? Wrecked. Mine in recovery. My lawyer was a quiet man with sharp eyes. He never raised his voice, but he didn't need to. He sat across from me one afternoon, flipping through the file one last time before court filings began. "You sure you want to follow through?" he asked. "This will sever everything." I nodded once. Steady. It already was. He didn't argue. He just filed the motion to press criminal charges. Because it was criminal. Because family didn't mean immunity. Family didn't mean you got to ruin someone's life and hide behind birthday cards and tired apologies. News got around fast. A cousin texted me, told me my mom was telling everyone I had gone rogue, that I'd lost it, that I was trying to destroy Ryan out of jealousy. Jealousy? Of what? Of a liar with a badge of martyrdom and a house he couldn't afford? Of a man who built his life on stolen bricks? I almost laughed. Then I remembered how many people believed her. Because she cried. Because she knew how to frame the story. Because I was the quiet one. I always had been. That was the trade-off. Ryan got grace. I got silence. Until now. I got a call from the bank's fraud division midweek. "Mr. Carter, we've confirmed the signature was forged and the loan was obtained under false pretenses. The notary involved is under investigation." I thanked them. They said they would issue a full clearance of liability on my part, pending final court approval. It wasn't over, but it was close. The following Saturday, I went to visit my old apartment manager, just a courtesy. I explained that there might be legal calls coming, character references requested. He looked at me and said, "You always paid early. Only person I trusted to sign without reading." That stung more than it should have, because that's what they'd all counted on. That I'd trust, that I wouldn't read, that I'd carry the weight without complaint. I left his office with that sentence echoing in my ears. Then I drove to Austin, not to confront them, to see the house. I stood across the street, watching it from behind a parked SUV. It was beautiful. Fake stone exterior, white shutters, a porch swing they probably never used. A closed curtain on the second floor shifted slightly. Someone was home, but the lights were off in half the windows, the lawn overgrown, the mailbox stuffed. It didn't look like a family's dream anymore. It looked like what it was, a shell built on lies. I stayed 10 minutes, then drove away, back to my own place. Small. 1 bedroom. But mine. Paid for. Honestly earned. That night I sat on my balcony with a beer in hand and a copy of the official bank release on my lap. Cleared, officially, externally. Internally? That would take longer. Because it wasn't about the house. It was about what they saw me as. A spare, a plan, B, an invisible wallet they could unzip and zip back up when they were done. I got a final message that night from Ryan. It said, "You ruined everything for us. You win. Hope it was worth it." I didn't reply. I just reread it and whispered to myself, I didn't win. Ryan lost, and I stopped letting him take me down with him. Then I deleted the thread, turned off my phone, and let the silence settle in. The kind of silence that doesn't mean empty. The kind that means free. To be continued. The court date was set for a Thursday. I didn't tell anyone. I wore a charcoal suit I hadn't touched in years and arrived 15 minutes early. The courtroom was quiet except for the soft shuffle of paper and the echo of footsteps. Ryan entered 5 minutes late, wearing a wrinkled button-down and fear disguised as confidence. He didn't look at me. His lawyer did, a public defender, judging by the rushed manner and folder packed with last-minute notes. The judge glanced over the motion for fraud, identity theft, and financial misrepresentation. It was dry, procedural, but underneath every sentence was a truth I'd waited years to speak. Not with words, but with action. The charges were accepted. The case was moving forward, full trial pending. Ryan was fingerprinted in the hallway afterward. I didn't watch it happen. I just signed the final form, thanked the clerk, and walked out into the sunlight, like I was breathing real air for the first time in years. That night, my mom showed up at my door again. I heard the knock before I saw her. She was holding a pie. I laughed. That's what she brought. A pie. Like this was Thanksgiving. "Jason," she said, "we need to talk." I opened the door, but didn't move to let her in. She looked older, her eyes puffy. Not from grief. From exhaustion. Exhaustion caused by a world she couldn't control anymore. "I don't know what you're trying to prove," she said. I tilted my head. "That I exist," I answered. She blinked like I slapped her. "You're tearing your family apart." "No," I said. "You did that when you decided I was a credit score instead of a son." She tried to argue, but I didn't care. I let her speak. Let her cry. Let her twist the narrative until even she couldn't remember what part was true. Then I stepped outside, closing the door behind me. "You raised me to clean up everyone's mess," I said. "To say yes, to keep quiet, to take care of the real problems while pretending mine didn't matter." She said nothing. "I was never your plan. Just the safety net, and you used me so long you forgot I was even a person." She whispered, "We didn't mean to." I cut her off. "You meant every part of it. You just didn't expect consequences." I handed her an envelope. It had the court docket number, the police report, and a note on top that said, "This is what accountability looks like." She didn't open it. She just looked at me like a stranger. "He's your brother." "He was." She flinched. I turned, walked down the hall, and left her standing there holding a pie and the weight of everything she refused to own. The trial lasted 2 months. Testimonies, signatures, bank witnesses. A handwriting analyst sat in front of a room full of strangers and explained in excruciating detail how my signature was faked. Not close. Forged, deliberate. The defense tried to play the family card, tried to argue. I had verbally agreed, tried to cry on command. Ryan faked emotion like he forged my name. Sloppy, and just convincing enough for someone who wanted to believe it. I didn't flinch once. The verdict was delivered on a Tuesday morning. Guilty. Felony fraud. Probation for 5 years. Restricted financial activity. Mandated restitution. Criminal record. Ryan collapsed into the bench like he just found out gravity was real. I watched without smiling. Not because I wasn't satisfied, because I didn't need to celebrate the fall. I already knew what it felt like to hit bottom alone. Now it was his turn. I left the courthouse to a quiet morning and a city that didn't care that justice just happened in a beige room with flickering lights. That was the beauty of it. No fanfare, no explosion, just a slow, methodical burn that started the day they thought I wouldn't fight back. I started building again. Small things at first. Repairing my credit, rebuilding trust in myself, renting a better apartment, choosing who I answered texts from, and who I didn't. One evening, I got an email from Ryan. It said, "You ruined my life." I replied, "No, I just stopped letting you ruin mine." And then I blocked him. I kept the screen open for a while, staring at the last sentence I would ever send him. Then I deleted our entire message history. All of it. Years of apologies, guilt trips, false gratitude. Gone. I went to the balcony, let the cool air hit my skin, and exhaled like I'd been holding my breath for a decade. I didn't feel proud. I felt empty in the best way possible. Like someone finally scraped the last moldy lie off the walls of my life. The family stopped calling. They knew better. They tried once more through an aunt. She called it a tragedy. Said, "You only get one family." I told her the truth. No, you get one identity, one credit score, one future, and I'm done letting people gamble with mine. She never called again. Months passed. Seasons turned. Spring became summer. I bought my first car with cash. A used Honda. Nothing special, except it had my name on the title. Just mine. I framed the court dismissal letter above my desk as a reminder. People don't get to keep what they steal. Not forever. I went quiet on social media. Stopped sharing photos. Stopped checking theirs. But one day, curiosity got me. I looked up Ryan's Facebook. It was gone. Not deactivated, wiped, the digital version of hiding in shame. A part of me grieved for the brother I thought I had. The rest of me celebrated the freedom of not needing him anymore. That night, I poured a drink. Sat by the window. Laptop open. I wrote a single line in a document I would never send. "You thought I was your safety net? I turned out to be the scissors." Then I hit save and smiled. Because in the end, all the lies collapsed under the one thing they never planned for: the truth. He built his empire on my silence, and I burned it down with one signature. Everything he built. Gone in 10 minutes.